Start.
Talking to my wife, I shall talk later. So,
All right, we back with another one. On this beautiful Thursday. Peace to the people.
peace to the people.
You know, good morning to everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you at. We got another one coming at you. You know, try to get out as much information that we can. So sorry for the short notice. And I got a couple of questions for you today, man. We want to build on your brand. We want to build on how did you come upon building your brand, you know,
Right.
which is Soul Future. Can you tell us can you tell me and the rest of the people what that means? What is Soul Future?
Soul Future is a forward and a past state all wrapped up into one. It basically has to do with your own mind perception, non-educational thoughts. It basically has to do with the non-trained mind, nothing traditional, nothing that we've been given here, quote unquote, as captured people. Let's just start from there. Anything the captured people got here was set up for them within the names of knowledge and history and research. And anytime we go into any one of those three things, we're going into the mindset of our capturer who set that in place for us. An example of that would be this. If I put a lot of my own personal thoughts on a piece of paper and I get this into a book and I get it put out, that book will end up in a library. Someone now can go to that library and pick up my thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? So thoughts can be dropped off.
Right.
Education, knowledge, and history and tradition was dropped off on us. And it was bred into us. So what Soul Future does is it reminds you, the soul part reminds you you're a child of the sun. You're a rhythmatic person. You have nothing to do with some of the stuff that you've been educated to believe as a person of creation. You're not a person that was created. You were manifest, or you're a person because you're a personification onto this planet. Your genetical code was beamed through the universe to this place. And that's one group of people.
Right.
In the Bible, that just comes out as, and God breathed into man, and man became a living soul. That's really how you enfeebled and revamped that. The other being will be the being that was put into a garden and didn't know his nakedness. We unfortunately have been placed with that being under a thing called human beings. I can show you or trace you back to when we as, let's just say, Anunnaki, we first formed a thing called hominoids, or y'all would call them Bigfoots or Sasquatches. When we later wanted to develop a human project, a human genealogy project, we went back into this hominoid and we began, and that's where you get Homo erectus, Homo sapien. It was a phase that these people were created through. And there was a lunar calendar, a lunar cycle that they were created underneath. Soul Future reminds you that you're not a part of the creation, you're not a human being. The reason you have a solar plex in your body and you live under a solar system is because you're a solar being. But there's no information out there about that. So in comes me, APEXXSOLAR1, to bring you Soul Future, to let you know you're not your age, to let you know things that you will call or consider out of the whack or out of the box or crazy, but then that's welcoming you to who I am. We are the crazy people. We are the genius people. We are the people who are out of the box.
Right.
We are the people who don't want to be informed, so we don't want to stay in formation. I come from out, so what I drop is outellect. I do not have intellect. So I come to bring you the brightness because you people have been led to the light. The light is not necessarily good. That's been a trick. And you're gonna learn the difference. When you cut on a light in a room and it's too bright, you have to tone it down because it was bright. It's still one motion, you're just toning it down to a light. Light and brightness is two different things. When you get to school, some children are smart, but when they really want to compliment this child, they say, oh, she's bright. What's the difference? There's a difference between a smart child and a bright child. Here at Soul Future, I am raising the bright children. I'm raising the elect that will be in my frequency, who will just be on their YouTube. Well, why did I stop here? That's how you got here. I don't have a lot of subscribers because I tell all the gods this. If y'all all line up and know that the Most High said it's only going to be 144,000 worthy of being chosen, why you got 1 million subscribers? That means such and such amount of them is just for no reason. Because your orders from on high, no matter what doctrine we read, says only 144,000 will be worthy. I'm only here to pick out a few of those 144,000. So you won't see a lot of subscribers. And another reason you won't see a lot of subscribers, because I don't ask for money on my channel. So when I have brothers saying, yo, you know you can get your subscription up and you can start getting paid.
Get it monetized and all that.
I'm trying to get you away from getting paid, and I'm trying to get you away from culture to an agriculture. You're an agriculture. Only thing I want you rich in is the soil that you reserve for you. That's what Indians was took off, a reservation, something that was reserved for you. I'm trying to get you back into something, because guess what? You can give a man $1 billion and give me 100 acres of good soil. I'll outlast him for lifetime, because I no longer have to pass supermarkets. I am the farmer, and we don't know nothing about becoming the farmer. So why would we be interested in the no GMO, non-organic food? There's no such thing called non-organic food. If I tell you you got 7 poisons in your body and government regulates that you take out 2, then they'll consider your food non-organic. That's all that means. But you're not going to learn that in education or being smart. Because if you're now smart and you're a graduate, they're now putting a telephone next to you and they're putting a television next to you and saying they're smart too. Ain't that an insult? How could they be smart too and you're smart? Because like you, they were downloaded. Like you were downloaded with education. So to wrap it up, Soul Future is myself, APEXXSOLAR1, gathering the children in the frequency of, they already feel something's wrong. They already grew up knowing religion was wrong. They just need that boost into something else, but they don't have nothing else to go to, because everything out here is education, enlightenment, and all of that kind of thing. They say they're the truth, the way, and the light. I come to teach you to watch out for that light. Be careful of the light that you choose to follow, because I don't have light. I bring you light. I have much more than what I have to bring you. If you got a rich philanthropist and he's giving away millions, it's because he's a billionaire. He's not giving away what he got. He's giving away what you need. You need light, because that's what you've been taught through religion. So I'm here to bring you the light. Only thing I'm going to switch your light is to the solar light.
Nice, man. You know, I like the fact that, you know, you have a different perspective than what others that I've seen and watched, you know, and just because you have a different perspective is not, it doesn't make you better, you know, it just make you, in my eyes, you know, I see that there are a lot of people who think differently, you know, and bringing different information forth to the people, you know, and I love that, man. I love that, man. Definitely. How did you create Soul Future? Like, how did you come up with the idea of it? Was it something that was already inside of you and it took for, you know, timing, you know, like, how did this come to life for you, man?
It was rhythmic of what Soul Future was. When I was doing the Apex God Body show, I created a thing within myself called Crooked Angels, meaning branding myself from, I've always been a nice fella, but I've always been crooked.
Right.
And we always been them children, them bad children that your mother gonna pinch that cheek and say, my angel.
Yes.
That's my angel. We're bad, but we're crooked angels. So I got chose to do this because the answer to the question more directly is, we don't know, we just do it.
Right.
It just comes out and it becomes our doctrine. It becomes,
right.
I can't take you to one place. And that's what I'm saying with education. If someone say, where'd you get that from? And I say the sun. They're not going to identify with me, because when I say where'd you get that from, they're going to be able to go back and pinpoint their education.
Right.
So whatever college you graduated from, whoever wrote the curriculum for that college, you have his or her mindset. So you can pinpoint it. You can't pinpoint Soul Future information because it's too ongoing. It changes. It switches in and out. In your world, you call that contradiction. It's not contradiction. We thought one way or another at one time when it was suitable for that way, and then now we're thinking another way for another time.
I can agree.
I hear you might want to comment on that.
I can agree, man. I definitely can agree. You know, we oftentimes have, you know,
different
opinions, you know, and you know, this is the whole thing where, you know, we get, oh, we don't supposed to do things that way, or we don't supposed to do things the new way or the old way, you know.
Right.
Come with time, in due time, things change, you know, and it's nothing wrong with change. There's a difference between changing and transitioning.
Right. Correct.
You know, my mentor taught me that I'm not trying to change you.
Right.
I'm just trying to polish you.
Right.
Trying to, you know, it's not changing. You can't change no one, you know.
And that's the ultimate thing that we're doing here, that I'm doing here with Soul Future, and that was great, because what I'm trying to share with people is, when you deal with science, when you deal with facts, once you give a child a word science, you hear these people say, I'm a scientist, and they got a group of people in front of them. So one time I'm lecturing to some people, and I said, they're scientists, so I said, what is science? What does it mean? The scientists didn't know. They didn't know the root of the word scientist goes back to a Greek philosopher who was just really taken from us. He was an alchemist, someone in the lab. But science in Greek mythology or Greek means to know. You're trying to know. Now, it doesn't mean you know. See, we know. And when you try to hide my doctrine in a thing called Bible, but you look at me and tell me that a man called God walked with Adam and said, whatever you name things, Adam, so be it. That means whatever Adam named things on this planet, he knew the knowledge, the brightness or the answer to the question. There's answers to the question. People think the lost people don't have the answer. The children that was in the garden, they had to have hope and faith that there was a God, because they didn't get to walk with God.
Right.
I don't have hope here at Soul Future. We're not hoping there's a God. We don't have faith that there's a God. We know who we are. We know we are related to the sun. We know we are genetically different. If you want to use the word better, you can say it, but we don't admit we better. We hear from this European who says human beings use a certain amount of their mind, but the geniuses use a higher percent.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. Wouldn't human beings be geniuses too? Wouldn't they just be?
Right.
They're separating you, but you're not trying
to separate yourself.
You want to be with this white man. Only thing that you're, and now let me back this up. I'm not teaching racism, because I'm going to say it first here. And I think this is something you're going to love to hear me say. And I really do. I think this is something you're going to love to hear me say. When you bring these children up and you take them to the Conscious Nations or the Pyramid Nations or any black movement, Black Panthers, NAACP, I want y'all to admit one thing. You're instilling an innocent child right then and there with racism and hatred, because you think you have a truth. So they might not know a white man is the devil until a black person tell it to them when they go to get educated. You sit down and watch Roots. Mm-hmm. You might have not hated white people, but they make sure you can watch Roots at least 10 times a year on regular television. That will breed hate. It's the reason they're doing that. Here at Soul Future, we're not going to tell you about no white man being no devil. We're not going to tell you if Huptep built the pyramid. We're not going to say Nom or all that. How much of that are y'all going to get? What's the new lessons now? Okay, we built the pyramid. We're from Africa. We're the Egyptians. No, who are you? You're telling me about somebody that was. When you pass on, right, we're going to be talking about you in that light. What did you do in your day? Because in your day, you're talking about a Huptep. So Huptep did something in his day for you to be talking about him 3 million years from now.
Right.
So what are you doing now but saying, yo, that's us. We built that. All right, what did you build in this day? All right, they built the pyramids. So shouldn't we continue now and be building something now in this new day? We're not in control.
And that's the thing that we're trying to.
We want to big up ourselves.
We want to big up ourselves too much. And we want to live on what our ancestors did.
Right.
Now, let me stop. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But living through, on what our ancestors have done, we got to continue on doing. And I see it's a lot of dudes out here that's doing that, man.
I apologize. Aisha, you still there? Yeah. I gotta check with the wife. If you don't check with the wife, make sure she just wanted to hear the interview too. If you don't check with the wife, you know you get in trouble. I apologize for cutting you off.
It's all right, man. Nah, man, it's just, I see a lot of dudes, man, that's trying to live on what our ancestors did, and they just talking. They ain't doing nothing,
It can breed.
It's weird, man.
All the children to me is getting out of that. this hatred. I love the conscious nation. They're all my brothers. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I don't understand. Just say this: making it to a certain level, right, and then letting the children view you in a battle. Did we get all of this knowledge to argue with it, or did we get it to go and do something with it? That's all I'm saying. I don't want to get here and have people seeing me in debates. I do not debate with no other brother who I'm calling a brother. I'd rather you correct me and say, Apex, you know what? You was a little off on something, but bro, I like what you're saying. And guess what they're going to do? If I accept that and say, brother such and such, help me out, that's what he don't want to see. He want to see me and you battling out.
Right.
He don't want to see me saying, no, I think you're off on this, but guess what? I'm going to talk about the 5 things you rocked with first. That's what they're going to hear me say first.
Exactly.
Before they hit me down, a brother that's only got a channel to teach positivity. But you got some brothers that'll wait for one little Jew, he might have dropped off. Yo, I'm going at this dude, man.
Yep.
Y'all, you know what? Y'all go back in the streets with that shit, man. Why are you getting to a conscious nation to be saying I'm beefing with somebody? You sound like the rappers. You sound like the old breakdancers. They move on each other, they look, then they start breakdancing.
Yep.
That energy I don't want, and what I'm here to teach in Soul Future, that's third dimensional energy. That's why you keep teaching about pyramids, and y'all haven't moved on to Tetra.
Yeah, man. I agree with you, man. It's too much, reaction. People just reacting. They don't. I don't think a lot of people tend to listen, a lot,
Right.
And again, it's the way we speak to one another. It's the way we speak to one another. It's the way we critique one another. Positive feedback. We already have that energy embedded in us, so we got to be very, 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 we have to tread words lightly, with one another, due to the fact that we already have that energy inside of us and that hatred, as you spoke about earlier.
We don't need our own people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to go to knowledge to come out and hate white people. I do not hate white people. I do not hate this government. I don't teach that. You get too much of that teachings about. I'm gonna show you how weak that is. If you're teaching that you're in control, how in the next verse you can talk about what the government holding you down doing? If you're not in control. Yo, the government doing it, it's a crooked government. Why would you care if you're in control? I teach you that we are the solar beings that put this government in control.
Yes, sir.
If you can make a statement in the Bible, if you can read a statement that says the devil will reign for 6,000 years and then his reign will be over, who has the power to do that? See, we got to realize that when you teach the Egyptian society, they are the fallen angels. The whole Anunnaki society are the ones who strayed into black magic. Isis, Osiris, all of them eventually went over to the dark side. And that's what people don't understand. And they beginning to stop teaching about 3 other higher generations that came before them, which was called the Hyperboreans, the Lemurians, and you have us, the solar generation, the one. And that's why I'm APEXXSOLAR1. I am the first strand here. When it got to our offspring, the Anunnaki, they stopped teaching about the higher beings, and they just submitted that they were the gods. That's why they ended up in your educational system. So what we did was, we had originally sent them here on this planet to mine for gold in a place called Terra. This planet was called Terra. And they got here, and once they procreated something, the European became the extraterrestrials. They became the extra being. I am not an extraterrestrial. This is my land. I'm not extra here. So that's a new teaching for y'all. Use common sense. Extra means more. If I'm telling you I was here first, anything after me would have to be the extra. Hello? But you're not going to get this being knowledge is born. They don't got that for you in history. You can't go now and look in a book and say, where's he getting this from? I'm getting it from the very system you're under, the solar system. So if I'm not right, then you're not right. So stop living under a solar system and stay living under a moon system. Because the light they're leading you to is moonlight. There's a solar light and there's moonlight. So you have a bunch of negative moon activities going on. Witches, warlocks, moon readers, knowledge of self dudes, astrology, all that's leading you into the moonlight. And I'm here to let you know that the moon cannot shine or have a light unless the sun shine on it. The only energy that the moon is working with is if you snatch a plug out of a light and you're still going to see the bulb on a little bit, then it'll go off. That's still my light. The moon won't have energy unless it's solar energy. So who controls all moon energy? Me. Solar energy controls all moon energy. So I'm going to introduce y'all something above energy. Solar beings don't deal with energy. So if you're a witch and you're trying to conquer me with the word energy, I don't use energy. I'm a synergy being. Y'all never heard of synergy. Synergy is the center of all. Y'all deal with electricity. I deal with equatricity. I deal with the four. Y'all deal with the tri. Y'all deal with pyramids. I deal with tetrahedrons, which are square. Y'all deal with mathematics. Y'all had to make up a square to get to where I'm at, and you had to drop math, drop a numerical system, and y'all had to call it quantum physics. Qua is 4. You have to deal with the level 4, fourth dimension, in order to understand what I'm saying. So welcome to the fourth dimension in Soul Future, where you are dropping history, you're dropping education, you're dropping knowledge of self, you're dropping enlightenment, and you're coming into the brightness to where you're just gonna know, and you won't have to second guess nothing nobody's saying, because you'll be now in the frequency of knowing. Once you know, you rule the planet. You can't rule the planet raising your hand, asking this man questions, or thinking that the European is your oppressor. He's not your oppressor. You're your own oppressor. Because you can't speak to me about you being God and then telling me you being oppressed. Because I tell you, yes, false gods can be oppressed. So you have a God that had a war in heaven. Somebody oppressed your God.
Right.
That's not my God. That's what you accepted in religious education. So welcome to Soul Future, where you can open your minds up, and those thoughts that you was thinking about that you get and you were scared to say because you thought somebody was going to laugh at you, ask you where you're going to get it from, and you know you can't prove it, go with those thoughts. And that makes you over here, because they can show you any chart of the physical body, but you won't learn this lesson I'm about to drop on you, but at Soul Future. If you look up right now and check this, the four stages of matter, I teach you that they can show you anatomy chart. They can show you your brain, but they have never showed you your mind, because your mind is not in your body. Your mind sits in the fourth state of matter. And the white man knows this. He tells you this, but you don't pick it up because he got you on a third dimensional frequency. But I'm gonna give you a fourth dimensional frequency to make your chest lift as soon as I say it, and then you're gonna overstand. I'm gonna take you from understanding to overstanding. Your mind sits in the fourth state of matter. Right now, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if I told you to look up the 4 stages of matter, you're going to say the first stage is solid, second stage will be liquid, the third stage will be gas, and the fourth stage will be plasma. The fourth stage of matter is plasma. Your mind sits in plasma. Wouldn't that be mind over matter? Don't you hear that all your life? Mind over matter?
Yeah.
So break mind over matter down to me then. You can't do it from an educational. You have to have me come in, give you your solar frequency, and then it'll become easy to you. Why is your mind sitting in plasma? Because plasma is the first thing that came out after the explosion of the sun. It's the first thing out. It's called post-plasmatic, post-plasma. Post-plasma will be right after the sun. And that's where all your thoughts come from. They sit in your mind and then they ricochet into your brain. Your brain is just a receiver. So you have to be in that frequency from both the fourth state of matter to your brain, because your brain is a receptor. You can't just have one walkie-talkie. If I have a brain and I can get an information, it has to be another walkie-talkie. Think about that. So your brain is the receiver. It has to be a sender. Your mind sends your brains the thoughts, but it'll send you crazy thoughts if you warp it through light. If you warp it through brilliance or brightness, that's when you won't have mathematics. You'll be a being that's into formations. And mind over matter is your mind sits in the fourth stage of post-plasma, which is mind over matter. And they teach you that all your life, but you won't get it until someone like me come and share it with you.
Yo, man, very well put together and said. I want to end this off by definitely giving me the actual pleasure and the time and the, giving me the chance to do this interview with you. I took in everything that you said. While you speaking to the people, I'm learning myself as well. And with that being said, man, I want everybody to enjoy the rest of their day. And we out, man.
We out, man.
All right.